Hello, everybody. So I don't know. Okay, I don't have this muted. I just tried this once and I didn't have any sound. Hopefully, somebody will come back and tell me if there is sound now. It's my computer's picking up sound. So I don't know if there's just something off that I'm not understanding with this setup. I don't know. This little monitor down here is doing something. So I see someone's here. Maybe someone will let me know if it's working. Oh, you can hear me now. Yay. Okay. So I talked for a little while before I realized no one can hear me. Thank you, Shadow, for letting me know. Okay. I don't know what that was. That was really weird. Well, but here we are now, right? So those of you who are here who are finding me the second time, check in if you don't mind. Let me know you're here. And let me know how your new moon, the this period of time from the new moon to the full moon, the last 2 weeks, how things went for you. Mine was really great. I had a really great 2 weeks. So we talked about how tonight is the full moon, the last full moon of winter, I believe, and it's called the snow moon. So we talked about that 2 weeks ago when we did the new moon, which is so the snow moon apparently is connected. Of course, snow is connected to winter, but actually the snow moon is connected to the beginnings of spring, interestingly enough. Oh, hi, Corey. I'm glad you're here. Um, and I think about it, it's funny because as I said, I live in the southeastern part of America, and we do not have snow hardly at all, right? But I have lived in places where there was snow. And I remember that snow, it's cold, so you think of it as being just really cold and bitter, and I guess it can be. But also if you think about snow is also creating this blanket, and it actually protects the ground below it. So below the snow, even as the snow is still there is the earth is coming alive and preparing for spring. And so that was sort of the idea behind the new moon, is that, yep, the snow's still here, but we're beginning to get the stirrings of new life coming up. And the question I asked of the spread 2 weeks ago was, what are three ways we can support our own awakening, right? And I think that was I had a really great time. My period of 2 weeks was really enlightening. It really helped open things up for me, which is a lot of fun. I like that. So Shadow, you said yours was really good. You got a lot accomplished. Well, so you're not just awakening, you're probably woke already. So I did share a bit about made a post about my first card that I pulled for last 2 weeks ago, and it was the 5 of Cups reversed. And the second one was the 3 of Cups reversed. And so that was really nice because the 3 of Cups is the 3 women dancing in a circle. And upright, I think of it as being about having your people around, having people celebrate you and are excited for you and dancing around you. And 3 is about momentum getting stronger. The reversal, I often think about as being creating that sort of partnership and really a team or a connection within ourselves. And so that's what I played with, was where am I not really supporting or celebrating myself? And I realized that I was trying to create some stuff, and my mind, who's the facilitator of making things happen, was like, yeah, we got to get this done, looking at it like it was work. And that's sort of a heavy, responsible energy. And my intuition doesn't like that very much. And so I kept getting stuck. And finally, I started looking at my past things I've created. So, especially music. That's what I'm describing. So I have a page where I post music. And I started going back and listening to it. And my mind was like, wow, that's really beautiful. And I realized my mind needed to kind of fall in love with what I was doing. And I think that is really important, that the mind, which is the human part of us and also our own masculine energy, the mind's job is to make things happen, facilitate, keep things going, right? But the purpose of the mind actually is to serve the feminine or the intuition. And so the mind will do that. Will do that if you give it instruction to do so. It will do that. My mind has agreed to do that. But we don't want the mind to think of it as a duty. We want the mind to think of it as a joy, as something fun and exciting and exhilarating. And so my mind was listening to my old songs, and my mind was like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm excited to make some more. So I think, we do need that internal celebration of what we're doing. And I'm sure anyone who's created anything has had that moment where you created something, you came back to it later and you thought, did I do that? And I think that did I do that comes from the mind, because actually the mind didn't really do that. I mean, it participated in a way, right? But this is sort of a magical instinct coming from the intuition, and the mind's like, "Wow, look at what we did." And we want the mind to have that moment of sort of bigness and awareness and thinking, "Wow, we're really magical, aren't we?" So we want the mind to serve or to work with the intuition, not because it's its job, but because it's in love with the intuition. And just as you would have like romantic partners, like the Two of Cups, right? You want that kind of connection, and you want to give the mind support in getting there, and also get rid of any mindsets we have where we're told not to do that. Like, it's not polite to think too good of yourself or to be braggy or all that, like false humility, which we're taught is a virtue. Even if you don't mean it falsely, we don't want the mind to do that. We want it to fully buy in to how amazing we are and to really enjoy it. So, um, Beth says, I've been unearthing ancestors and how I feel about being descendant of them. Wow. And JR, hi. I'm glad you made it too. So yeah, if you have any questions or if you want to share anything special about what came up for you in the between the new moon and this new moon, this is the full moon, the snow moon, I would love to hear it. And actually, I kind of thought I only did one post. I thought about doing a post for each of my cards and how I worked out with them. And then I kind of just didn't follow through with it. But I think it'd be fun because we are sort of pulling spreads. Like, you might be using the spread I pull, or you might be pulling your own. But just to kind of, if you feel like sharing, like that first post, I said, well, this is what came up with me with the Five of Cups. What's happening with you? And maybe just sort of enjoying the magic for each other as it comes up. So anyway, this is the snow moon. So we have been through a period of a couple weeks of awakening. Things are starting to stir. Maybe we're feeling life beginning to return, some optimism, some excitement coming up. So I thought, for the snow moon, which is the full moon, what kind of spread, what kind of questions could we ask that would be helpful? And because at the new moon, right? At the full moon, I keep getting them wrong. At the full moon, the light is full. And I guess the theory is that we are full of energy now. We've been awakened and we're roused now. We've got all this energy. So now our job for the next 2 weeks is to invest that energy into the world. We're going to now empty ourselves of energy to prepare to get to the new moon, which is where there's no energy, or where we released all of our energy. So the question would be, what are questions that help us know how to invest? How do we invest our energy? And so maybe that's a good question. Like, what are the things we are called to invest in this next 2 weeks? And I'm sure I think everything's connected. So whatever we did before is going to be connected to the now, right? So whatever you were awakening, you may discover now the shift is, I've got this fullness, I've got this inspiration, I have this support, I've got this excitement, whatever that is that's building up. Now my job is to turn that abundance into an outward flow into the world, right? So, yeah, if you've got your tarot deck, let's go ahead and pull a spread for the full moon. And we're going to ask the 3 questions, just 3 things. What are ways we can invest? Ways our energy can invest into the world. I think it's so important. I love the movement of the moon because it's cyclical and it reminds us that we are supposed to fill ourselves up. We're also supposed to empty ourselves. And I like the challenge of emptying myself. I have a tendency, I noticed as I've been doing this year, my mind has a tendency to want to hold back something, like, keep a little something for a rainy day. Like, the mind is afraid of being empty. So the challenge of getting the mind to empty all the way has been a really interesting one. But it feels like you want to leave it all in the field. I used to tell that to my son when he was in school. He said, what if I don't do well? We were talking about schoolwork. What if I don't do well? I said, you know what? Just leave it all in the field. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you know you left it all on the field. We're in Alabama and football is a big deal in Alabama. So I like the idea of really pushing my mind to the limit of holding nothing back. What happens if you totally empty yourself? Well, you know what happens? You get filled right back up. And that's the lesson of the new and full moons. So Shadow says meditation. You've been doing meditation? Oh, and Queen of Swords, you're already pulling some. Queen of Swords. Ooh, so is that the question? What are you going to invest in? The Queen of Swords? Okay. So that'd be getting your mind clear and clean. And maybe if you think about investment in others, maybe helping others get clear and clean. Maybe you help others disentangle themselves from old mindsets or old heavinesses that are not supporting them. That's an interesting. I've never thought of the Queen of Swords. I've always thought of her as engaging in us, which I think she definitely does. But what would it look like to offer that kind of support and clarity and conciseness of that surgeon queen in the world? That's a cool thing to think about. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull my cards and we'll see what comes up for me. First question, what's one way I can invest in the world? Okay, I've got 8 of Wands reversed. 8 of Wands reversed. Okay, the reversal, what's that about, right? So 8 of Wands is such a powerful card. 8 is about momentum and power. Wands are about passion and confidence and inspiration. And the image of the Rider-Waite, they're literally flying through the air. This energy is unstoppable. It's so big, it's so bright, it's so brilliant, it's unstoppable. And it's literally flying at this point. It's going to go where it's going to go. It's going to land where it's going to land. Now, one thing I would say about the 8 of Wands, a challenge of this is that it's such a big energy. It can sometimes feel like it is running us, almost like we're caught in this sort of big passion that we're not quite mastering it all the way. So the reversal here might suggest, and actually I can definitely see this as a lesson for me, might suggest really leaning into not blocking this energy, but really directing it, internalizing the mastery of it. So we don't want to be in because almost like if the energy is bigger than we are, we're in reaction, and that can be a good or it could work out lots of different ways, right? But we're really not quite in charge of it. It's kind of like the strength card where there's the angel and the lion, and the idea that the lion is connected to her because she's really mastering it through her love for it, and it's agreeing to be in connection. So we want our energy to be connected to our highest wisdom and highest purpose. So as an action star, an investment, this would say really, really commit to getting fully into my passion, fully into my momentum, but under the direction of under a clarity of purpose. So not letting it run away with me, but not holding it back either, trying to create a nice partnership with the passion. So the passion and inspiration and energy is allowed to flow as big as it wants towards the in service of the purpose I have chosen for it. Okay, that's one thing. Hi, Alan. I'm glad you got here. That would be my first card, 8 of Wands reversed. And then Shadow, you said Queen of Swords was your first one. So very cool. And again, anyone wants to share, you can. Second question. Next question is what's just the same question. What's another way I can invest my energy in these 2 weeks? Page of Cups. Okay. So the page, of course, is the young energy of the court cards. He's like the student or the youngster who's starting out learning. Cups are connected to the heart. They're about following your intuition and connecting with other people. And what I love about this page, I always love this about him, is you can see in the Rider-Waite, there's this he's holding a cup. Out of the cup is popping up the nose of a little fish. And I always imagine the fish is whispering to the page, and he's listening. He has his head tilted that way. Like, what? So the idea of the page is that he doesn't know that he's not supposed to be listening to the fish. He's not old enough to have figured out this is not proper behavior, right? So he is listening to the fish because he trusts that there is something magical and wise coming from the fish. So the Page of Cups is willing to follow his heart, even if it seems crazy, right? Even if it seems like how is he going to explain this to someone? Why are you doing what you're doing? Well, the fish told me to. Right? So there's this idea that he doesn't really care what he looks like. He's not old and in his ways. He's not worried about prestige. He really is just totally committed to following his heart. And so as an action step, then I would say this is following that heart in the world, going ahead and doing the things that maybe don't seem like they make sense or make me nervous. By the way, doing live streams totally makes me nervous. So I'm already going a little bit in this energy. You know, going ahead and going further, like letting myself. And actually another thing that popped up is I sing with I have a partner, and we play music, live music out, and he wants to add another guitarist. And we've been singing together for a long, long time. He wants to add another guitarist because, there are places where he has to use a looper, because he needs two guitars in order to play leads. So we did meet last week, and he's tried this before, and I have been resistant, um, because I because I really like the connection I have with my partner, and I like our sound, and I like how we do things, and I don't want to be. So I was in this rehearsal, and it doesn't sound great. But the guy doesn't really know the music yet, right? Doesn't sound great. Um and I feel like actually the sound of the music is probably going to be compromised a little. But I thought, yeah, so what? This isn't the Anna show. This is bigger than you. Can you relax and let something else happen? And I felt like that was the voice of the fish. Yeah, I know it may not sound as good. Like objectively speaking, this might not be as good, but we're not being objective, right? We're being connected. And like, what does it mean to open space up for somebody or for something new or for somebody new? So anyway, that's one thing that occurs to me that I may be challenged in the next couple of weeks, like leading further into that, letting go of the perfection maybe that I would like, or or what I'm used to, and saying, what's the path of love and connection? And I think this person who was brought in, actually, it's going to be very, very meaningful to that person to be able to play music. There's a whole story behind them walking away from music and coming back. And like, yeah, maybe that's worth the music not being so great. That's my second card. So you just heard my whole work on the second card, but maybe more will come up. Usually does. So that's my second card. How about you guys? Um, Alan, was that your reverse Three of Wands and reverse Sun? So those are your first two? Okay. Reverse Three of Wands. So in the world, reverse Three of Wands. Huh. So that's the three is momentum, wands is passion, right? So there's this idea of the universe is responding, and reversal of that. Moving, investing in the world. Okay, what comes to me is actually, the reversal would be like, could be about like helping others internalize that, like helping others see, or actually creating opportunity for others, or opening the door for opportunity for others, or somehow bringing others into that. Because the reversals can be lots of things, but one thing they can mean is like an internalization of this energy, right? So the Three of Wands looks so much like you're in flow, the universe is in flow, like we're partnering, everything's going really well. um so it's like we're having this outward experience, and the reversal could be an inward experience of, I know how to make things flow, I know how to find the assets, and I know how to bring other people into that. So almost like we're drawing others into that place of passion. I don't know, that'd be interesting to see how that works out. And the reversed sun. Okay, so I would say almost the same thing. Like the sun is always about vitality and movement and growth and beauty, and it's, to me, it's the last really powerful active card in the major arcana. And the reversal is kind of like, well, the clouds over the sun, right? It's the sun is still there. The sun's always there. The reversal does not negate the sun. It just hides it a little. So the reversal of the sun, I would say, maybe is like, where is the sun hidden in the world? And how can I kind of help remove the veil? Like, how can you actually be the sun in the world? It may look dark, it may look gloomy, but we know better, right? We know that it doesn't matter if it looks dark and gloomy, the sun is still there, and sort of owning that place of brightness ourselves. I don't know. That's interesting. Then Nessa says, I pull the devil. The devil's about escaping old patterns, getting rid of old depressions, like stepping up and saying, I'm done being trapped. I can see now that I'm trapped and I'm not going to agree anymore. That's a big movement and an investment in the world. So that's a good one. Oh, Shadow said second card was page of coins or pentacles. Page of pentacles. Okay, so that is about, I think of the page as being like, we're looking at new things. We're kind of in the world investigating. So getting out there, seeing what's available. It's a physical thing. So it can be about jobs or money. And it can also be about hobbies, or going into the physical world, going on trips or going on hikes, or, kind of getting your body moving and investigating what's possible out there. Okay. Being in front of people makes you nervous, JR. Ah, well, I don't know. You may be you may be getting a little challenged on whether you can, being present in front of people. There is something about, I think, those two cards that pushes a little on, how do you invest in the world. So I think that, I think being in front of people, a lot of people are nervous about that. But I think that comes from a fear of messing up, which is kind of a linear concern. It's the mind worrying it's not going to do a good job. I think that if we can sort of get the mind to unhook from that and just say, you know what, like my mind, that's why I don't like live streams, right? I mean, I like them, but the reason they make me nervous is um, because my mind, when I'm done, my mind goes, oh my gosh, I probably said so many dumb things. I talk so much. I'm like a chihuahua. My energy is like a chihuahua. I'm just num, 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 num. So, my mind does that when I sing with my partner, right? My mind's always like, oh my gosh, I think we look stupid. My mind's a little bit of a mean girl sometimes. And so I say, you know what? We might have, let's just grant it that I might look stupid, but isn't it fun? And my mind's like, yeah, it is kind of fun. So it is about sort of letting go of the concern about what we look like and just getting into the joy and the flow of what we're bringing to the planet. So that may be something that, you're negotiating is, what does it mean to like let more of yourself show, more of your gifts and passion come forward so that others get the benefit of that. I don't know. That's a thought. Um, so Kim said, first card, Four of Cups reversed. Second card is Page of Pentacles reversed. So we did Page of Pentacles. So you can let me know if that feels like it matched. Oh, the reversal Page of Pentacles. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So the first is Four of Cups reversed. Four of Cups reversed. So to me, Four of Cups is kind of the guy under the tree. He's sitting, he's being alone. He's letting his heart he's anchoring in his heart. And the cups is the heart. So he's anchoring into his heart. And the reversal's like, yeah, now go share your heart with others. So what is it you've been how has your heart been talking to you and filling itself up and getting anchored? Now it's the time to go ahead and move forward and like come out from the tree and join the people and share what your heart has to say. That might be something. And the Page of Pentacles reversed is sort of similar, I think. Of course, the page is the youngster and Pentacles is action, but the reversal to me is sometimes moving into the night. Like we're done learning. It's time to start doing stuff, take action. So whatever it is I've been thinking about doing, I've been learning, I've been taking classes on. Now it's like, yeah, now just start doing it. Move into the world and create, let your gift evoke movement in the physical plane. So those feel like they're kind of connected. It was pretty confusing. Okay, I'm glad I can't tell if I'm making any sense or not, so I'm glad it seemed less confusing. Yeah, we have a lot of pages. Yeah, Shadow. Okay. Okay, Beth says, God called on my heart to tell you to look up the band Smithfield Fair. Okay, I'll look them up. I'm big into music, so I'll look them up. And Joey says, so first card, Three of Swords reversed. Three of Swords reversed. So if we're going to use the same theme that we're using, like that, the three is momentum, and momentum is about movement, and the swords are about ideas and mindsets, right? So in the Rider-Waite, that card shows up as a heart with three swords in it. But it's not about heartbreak, at least not the way I read it. It's really about my expectations are thwarted, right? My mind's like, oh, we're going to travel down this path. We're going to do this thing. And then suddenly that doesn't happen. And the mind's like, wait, what went wrong? And the mind can get very upset there. But three is about momentum. So the challenge there is for the mind to sort of unhook itself from what it thought was going to happen and just trust that, okay, well, that's not what's going to happen. The intuition's guiding, the soul's here. We're just going to go for the ride and just trust that we're going to figure this out, right? So the reversal of the Three of Swords reversed, to me, if we're going to kind of keep the theme in, is like, how do we help others unhook from their own expectations? Expectations are sort of like maps that our minds create. They're just theories about how things are going to work. Now, some people have their theories actually work. Like they have a plan, they enact the plan, and they get where they want to go. That's what's a little confusing, because for some of us, it just doesn't work that way. And that usually they're heart and body people, heart and body intuitives. That's not how we have a path, right? So our expectations almost always are wrong for us. so so our mind has to get really good at being very easy on its expectations. And the better the mind gets at releasing what it thought was going to happen, the quicker it jumps on board to what actually is happening. So there is something kind of lovely about getting your mind to the point that it very quickly recovers when something goes wrong, And so the gift in the world then might be helping other people kind of let it go, move forward. Like the magic is still here. The magic was never in the map. The magic was never in the expectations. The magic was always in me. And that magic just took a funny little turn, and we're going to find out where it goes. Something to think about. Um, oh, Kim said, I just signed up to volunteer at the local hospital. Ooh, so you've gotten green lights for that. Awesome. That is really cool. It's really cool when I always talk about spreads as being sometimes they're prescriptive, which means they're giving you support, right? Sometimes they're descriptive, saying, "Oh, I'm already doing this. Good for you." Like, "Yay, good job. Keep going." So this is a little bit of both there. Um okay, so yeah, RV. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate that. RV Joey. Okay, so my third, I haven't made my third card yet. Here's my third card. And you can use this card too if you want. Two of Swords. Okay. So Two of Swords looks kind of problematic, right? Because the lady sitting there, she's blindfolded, she's sitting there, she's got two swords. And the idea here is that we have to make a choice, right? There, we have to come up with how we're going to, well, maybe not make a choice. Let me back up a little. It's more about how are we going to choose? That's the question. So the number two is about integration and rooting in. So the idea here is the mind needs to root itself into some form of wisdom or guidance so it can make decisions. And the blindfold is kind of reminding the mind that it can't really see. It doesn't really know from objective, consideration. It has no way of knowing what choices are going to lead to what outcomes. I mean, it can think it does. It can say, oh, it can have a theory, as I said, of how things are going to work out, but actually it doesn't know, right? So the mind faced with that conundrum gets stuck, or it can get stuck. It's just like, well, if I don't know what choices will lead to what outcomes, how can I make a choice, right? So the rooting in here is actually the mind learning to root in to the wisdom and the guidance of the intuition, which is represented by the ocean in the background. So the mind, the second step of the mind then is saying, oh, we've got this seed planted, something's going to be growing. Now, how am I going to make choices? Oh, I'm going to make choices by actually letting intuition make choices, and I'm going to follow those choices. So now we're creating an intentional partnership where the mind is not taking advice from other people or coming up with theories about how things are going to go or doing a pros and cons list, right? It's going, what does the intuition think is the right thing? Which is actually, what does the intuition feel is right? Intuition is a feeling. And for body intuitives, it's the body leads. For heart intuitives like me, the feelings lead. So it really is like this sort of, it's like that smoke signal being sent up, from the intuition, and the mind has to learn to trust that smoke signal because it does know. It doesn't necessarily know where we're going. It just knows that path is the most fun or the most interesting for what we're trying to accomplish. So, Two of Swords. So how would that look? Investment in the world. I don't know. I have to see how that one opens up for me. Two of Swords, because I think of that as being an internal thing, right? Okay, we'll think about it. So Kim says your third card is Ace of Cups reversed. Okay, well, Ace of Cups is that opening your heart, expanding, becoming a vessel of more. The cups facing heaven, and it's inviting in the flow. And the dove is bringing the communion wafer, which is the sign of incarnation. Spirit becomes flesh, and we become the vessel that carries that spirit made flesh into the world. The holiness is carried within ourselves, right? And the reversal in this case, I say the reversal is sort of a pouring out of that energy. Like you become the vessel that pours through you into the world. So, and as that feels like that does connect with what your plans to go into the hospital work. Okay, so Nessa has the world. So your gift is the world. Your first one, the investing in the world. And I think of the world. The world is the last card of the major arcana. It's about how you tell the story. You get to the end of your journey, and you tell the story in such a way that you are the hero And every challenge or encounter or struggle you had, you found your way through it and you were victorious. That's how you tell the story. You look at how your magic served you through this work. So I think of that as like, how do you tell the story? And how you tell the story is a gift to the world. And actually, the story, that's what you see it like in great epic stories, books and movies. People are telling the story in such a way that they're engaging our highest instincts. I mean, our highest understandings of magic and purpose and promise and love and all those things. So it's like how telling the story is really important. And it's important for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is the mind learns through story, right? The mind is making up stories all the time. And we want our minds to be attuned to magic and attuned to our own greatness. And not only our greatness, the greatness of human beings. So the way we tell the story is how we practice the mind in becoming a good partner to the intuition. The devil, oh my gosh, you have the world and the devil lined up. So I talked to you about the devil breaking free of old things. So that'll be interesting. The world and the devil could really be nice partners here. And Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is the fella um, who's got a pentacle on his head and the Rider-Waite. Always I'm talking about the Rider-Waite. Pentacle on his head, one and he's holding one, he's standing on two more. I think of the four as being balancing, creating a nice foundation. Pentacles is physical. So it is about like getting your resources sorted and being mindful of the value of your resources. So like that does not mean you don't invest in the world, but you do it mindfully. You don't just throw out your pennies. You don't throw your pearls before swine, as the Bible would say. You invest. It's what you have is important and valuable and precious, and you invest it properly. You invest it with a deliberation and intention that it's worthy of. So there is something about like how do you invest in yourself, but in a way that is not cheapening your gifts, but is only enriching your gifts. You invest in the world, and you can tell that you are investing that way because you invest out and it flows right back to you. You feel invigorated. You feel more energized after that investment, not less. So that'd be interesting to see how that works it out. Third card, for shout is Seven of Cups. Ooh, the Seven of Cups. That's about choosing, following your heart. You've got all these opportunities. They're standing before you. You've got the Seven Cups. They're all full of gifts. And that's the Rider-Waite. And the guy is standing there looking at them. And he has to choose what he wants. So I think that investment is just make your choice. Pick your path and start walking on the path. The reason we might not make the choice is a linear problem. Usually it's the mind's afraid of making the wrong choice. But how can you make the wrong choice? None of these paths actually exist yet. It's not like there's one good path and six bad paths. Like they're all paths that if you walk it, they're all openings to paths. And whichever one you pick becomes the path of magic because you're walking it. So like just follow your heart and choose one thing and do that thing. And then let your heart do its thing. Evoke its blessing on the planet. So all right. And JR said, third cup, Two of Cups reversed. Two of Cups reversed. Oh. Okay. So in that case, the Two of Cups are the two people who are toasting cups together. And again, the two is about integration, rooting in. And I think that partnership, that divine partnership where someone treats your heart lovingly and gently and supports you. So your heart feels safe and connected and gives it a chance to get stronger in that other person's kindness and love. And the reversal, I think, is probably the Three of Cups in this case, which is, now go find other people who are excited about what your heart has to say. So now we're kind of broadening, we're gaining momentum, right? So it is about moving into a larger sphere, a larger place of investment. Still a place where people are going to support you. We're not talking about, you're not yet going, on Etsy to sell your stuff, right? You're still keeping it close. These are still people who love you. But people who can value this, who can get excited for you and can tell you how amazing you are and what you're doing, how amazing it is. So the heart can get a little more speed, a little more confidence because that's what you're building to. So that's an interesting thing. So those are my cards. It was the Eight of Wands reversed, Page of Cups, and 2 of swords. Those are the ones I've got. And I think I will in the next couple of weeks kind of as these come alive for me or they open up in insights, I'll just kind of post, okay, my first card was the 8 of wands reversed and this is what happened. And then feel free, since those of you have pulled your cards too, like maybe you'll say, well, my first card was this and this is how that worked out. That would be kind of a fun like ongoing conversation, because um, it's good to have a spread, right? But it's also important to recall how it's working itself out and actually putting it in words, because that's again the mind training itself to talk about this. We're giving the mind an opportunity to create language, which is giving the mind an opportunity to create meaning. If the mind doesn't have language for something, it doesn't get it yet. So it's funny how, I took a course. I mean, we all probably took courses like, with marketing and stuff like that. Okay. But I fired both my coaches. So I didn't stick with them very long. But one thing, this actually I learned before those coaches. This I learned when I was a healing course I took with 2 people who are really amazing and I love them. But one of the things they said is as you're creating sort of your gifting in the world, you have to have an elevator pitch. You probably heard of that, the elevator pitch, which means you have 15 seconds to explain what you're doing. And it's really hard, right? But it's disciplining yourself. The reason you come up with an elevator pitch is you're getting your mind really clear in its language. You need the mind to be able to explain what you're doing and give it a chance to learn how to talk about it. Because the more your mind has language that it integrates what you're doing, the more your mind has mastery over this. Not only can your mind explain what you're doing to other people, your mind now has accessibility to some structures. How is it going to create a structure that supports you? So I think it's really very valuable in some way to give your mind a chance to talk about what you're doing. It's funny because with my clients, they'll talk about things they think are random, like, oh, well, this past month this happened. And I'll say, oh, well, that sounds like this card, or that sounds like what you talked about last month. And I'm kind of drawing connections. And they didn't see that connection until I showed it to them. And that's good for their mind goes, oh wow, it is connected. See, it is kind of all lining up. Everything does seem purposeful and of a similar flow. But so I like it because my mind likes it, because my mind always likes connecting the dots, right? But all minds like it. All minds like to say, like you're saying, Kim, oh, I'm gonna work in hospital. Look, these are all lining up. That's right. The mind can see there's a purpose and an intention behind the cards. So now let's get the mind to go further. Okay, well, so how is the 8 of wands reverse talking to me here? What else can be challenged here? What's the push that I need to look for? So, and then if you share it with somebody else, it's even better, because now you're talking to yourself and you're talking outside of yourself. So it becomes really good. So, hi Lisa. So yeah, those are my cards for now. I'm happy that I had the time to smooth you. I'm glad we got the sound fixed. so yeah, I will hopefully be connecting with you guys over the next couple weeks. I will try to do my part of sharing, because I only shared one this time. I had a second to share, but I didn't share that one. So I will try to be more intentional about actually sharing my own journey, and I would love it if you would reciprocate and share what's coming up with you. So all right, but I will, until next time, then I will plan to we'll plan to celebrate the snow moon, and I'll see ya in the new moon. Bye.